What's going on, noobs? I am Rory, the Perpetual Noob, and welcome back to another exciting Hollow Knight boss discussion. This is the 25th video in a series where I'll be discussing each boss of Hollow Knight, where we can find them, how we can defeat them, and how does this boss fit into the world of Hollow Knight. Today, we'll be talking about the invincible, fearless, sensual, mysterious, enchanting, vigorous, diligent, overwhelming, gorgeous, passionate, terrifying, beautiful, powerful Grey Prince Zote. Grey Prince Zote was added as part of the Hidden Dreams expansion, and is a dream boss located in the basement of Bretta's house at the right edge of Dirtmouth. To access this fight, we need to do a couple of things. For starters, we've got to interfere with Zote the Mighty in Green Path and Deep Nest. Then we must defeat him at the end of the Trial of the Warrior in the Colosseum of Fools. Remember how easy that fight was? Good memories. Another item on the list is rescuing Bretta in the Fungal Wastes. And the last piece of this puzzle is acquiring the Dream Nail, which can be found in the Resting Grounds. Once all of that has been done, we can descend into Bretta's basement and hit the statue of Grey Prince Zote with our Dream Nail to be transported to this very interesting pocket of the Dream Realm. There are a few special notes about Grey Prince Zote. The biggest is that there are 10 versions of this fight. 10! Henceforth, I shall refer to them as Zote 1 through 10. There is a set progression, so we won't fight Zote 10 until we beat Zote 9, and so on. Each version brings something new, whether it's more health, more attacks, or more damage. Before the Grim Troop update, Grey Prince Zote could be fought beyond 10, with appropriate damage increases. Before the Lifeblood update, we would need to defeat Grey Prince Zote 10 times before completing the Bretta side quest. After the Lifeblood update, we only need to defeat Grey Prince Zote 4 times to complete Bretta's quest. And we can still fight Grey Prince Zote up to 10 times. This is a dream boss fight, so we don't technically die when we lose. Grey Prince Zote will slam his nail down where we were when he reaches the apex of his leap, just before he flips. When he slams his nail, 2 shockwaves will erupt from the impact point and travel across the arena. The one that travels in the direction Grey Prince Zote is facing is larger than the one traveling in the opposite direction. There is a variation to this attack which involves Grey Prince Zote reaching the apex of his leap, and instead of slamming down then, he'll pirouette in the air to readjust his targeting and then slam down. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he squats down briefly and then leaps into the air. Once he reaches the apex of his leap, Grey Prince Zote will do a flip. As he comes out of the flip, he'll be holding his nail high above his head. Then he descends, rather unceremoniously. Seriously, can we take a moment to appreciate this look? In the variation, Grey Prince Zote will come out of the flip and hold that position momentarily. Then he dashes through the air, ending the dash with a pirouette before resuming his fall. Let's call this attack the Nail Slam attack. Grey Prince Zote will leap around the arena. Grey Prince Zote can string together multiple leaps, though I've never seen him do this attack more than 3 times in a row. He could chain this attack into a Shadow Slam attack, which we'll get into later, rather than another simple leap. Every time Grey Prince Zote lands, he sends out 2 small shockwaves in either direction that cross the arena. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he squats down briefly and then leaps into the air. He maintains his positioning and demeanor throughout the leap, landing like he actually knows what he's doing. Let's call this attack the Leap Attack. Grey Prince Zote will produce Zotelings that will attack us independently of Grey Prince Zote. Zotelings are bugs with Zote's head on them. Terrifying. There are 2 types. The first type of Zoteling we can encounter is the Winged Zoteling. These Zotelings can show up with any version of Grey Prince Zote. They lazily fly towards us to damage us. The second type of Zoteling we can encounter is the Hopping Zoteling. These Zotelings don't show up until the Zote 2 and later fights. They hop around the arena, but don't target us. Grey Prince Zote produces these Zotelings by spitting them from his mouth. The Winged Zotelings arc through and then remain in the air. The Hopping Zotelings arc through the air and then drop to the ground before they start hopping. Grey Prince Zote will produce 1 to 3 Zotelings in rapid succession per attack. The Zotelings do half of the damage scaled with each version of the fight we're on, rounded down to a minimum of 1. These Zotelings will remain in the arena until they are killed, so things can get chaotic if Grey Prince Zote keeps making more and we don't deal with them. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he stands in place, inhales, and swells up like a balloon. Moments later, he expectorates a Zoteling, sending them flying through the air. Both types of Zotelings will spawn, flipping over and over until they get just past the apex of their arc. If they are a winged Zoteling, with a pop of darkness, they sprout wings and start flapping about. If they are a hopping Zoteling, with a pop of darkness, they sprout legs and fall to the ground. Let's call this attack the Zoteling attack. Grey Prince Zote will leap into the air, and as he lands, he transmutes into a pillar of shadows, launching himself high above the arena. Moments later, he slams down, sending 2 large shockwaves across the arena in opposite directions. I would love to say that Grey Prince Zote targets us with this attack, or that this attack is predictive, but after examining dozens of examples, I can't promise either. If any of you noobs know, please leave a comment so everyone else can know. Grey Prince Zote can link into this attack after a leap attack. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he does what appears to be a leap attack. But as he lands, rather than landing gracefully like a knight of great renown would, he falls through the floor and wisps of shadow appear in a pillar. Then he disappears. Soon after his disappearance, we can hear him shouting as if falling from a great height. Then Grey Prince Zote appears at the top of the arena, falling with great speed, before landing like the knight of great renown that he is. Let's call this attack the Shadow Slam attack. Grey Prince Zote will charge at us, flailing his nail before him. This attack should look similar to Zote the Mighty's attack, except this one actually hurts. Grey Prince Zote will flail his nail at us for about 2.5 to 3.5 seconds. Once Grey Prince Zote is exhausted, he falls to the ground, sending out a shockwave in each direction. While Grey Prince Zote is flailing, he moves with momentum, like he's on ice. There is a variation to this attack where Grey Prince Zote will prepare to flail at us, but just fall over, sending out the shockwaves. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he draws his nail way back behind him, touching the tip to the ground. He shimmies in this position for a few moments before bringing his nail forward and flailing. He's also quite kind, letting us know this is coming with this sound. Let's call this attack the Flail attack. Grey Prince Zote summons a few volatile Zotelings around the arena. This attack happens with Zote 3 and later. These Zotelings appear one at a time in rapid succession. There will be 3 or 4 volatile Zotelings per attack. Each Zoteling will persist for about 2 seconds, exploding after that time has passed due to dealing poorly with the pressure of existing. Each volatile Zoteling can be destroyed by us, but that also results in them exploding. These Zotelings are light and will move if we strike them with our nail, otherwise they'll just float where they spawn. The volatile Zotelings spawn anywhere within a band of space in the arena. Much like the Zoteling attack, these volatile Zotelings can persist while Grey Prince Zote uses other attacks. Unlike the Zoteling attack, the damage from the volatile Zotelings and their explosions scale with each version of the fight we're on. Grey Prince Zote telegraphs this attack when he lifts his nail triumphantly and shouts, looking exactly like he does at the beginning of each fight. Throughout the arena, splashes of darkness will appear, and quickly after, a volatile Zoteling will appear like a rapidly filled balloon with vestigial arms and legs. Zotelings begin their explosive countdown when they hold their breath and their face turns a little orange. They remain like this for about 1 second as their whole body shakes violently. Then, let's call this attack the Ghost attack. There's a lot to unpack here, kind of. Fighting Grey Prince Zote is completely optional and doesn't really provide much from a story or game perspective. We'll get into those things at a later point in this video. If I wasn't making this video, I would have probably stopped fighting Grey Prince Zote around Zote 5 or 6 because those were the fights I struggled with the most and I got wicked frustrated. I even complained to Team Cherry on Twitter about the fact that this boss, and the other from the Hidden Dreams update, is nothing but artificial difficulty. And I'll stand by part of that claim. Grey Prince Zote is a lot of artificial difficulty. If an enemy is doing more than 2 points of damage to us, there better be a reason why they hit harder than the Radiant. And in this case, that reason is just for the challenge. Here's how this works. Zote 1. Grey Prince Zote has every attack except the Ghost attack, and his Zoteling attack only spawns Winged Zotelings. He has 1200 health, he attacks with regular frequency, and everything does 1 damage. Zote 2. Grey Prince Zote's Zoteling attack now spawns Hopping Zotelings too. He has 1300 health, attacks come a bit more often, and everything still does 1 damage. Zote 3. Grey Prince Zote now uses every attack, he has 1400 health, his attack frequency still increases, and everything does 1 damage. Zote 4. Here's where things really start to get interesting. Grey Prince Zote now has 1500 health, which is his maximum health, attacks more often, and everything does 2 damage, and the Zotelings do 1. Zote 5. Grey Prince Zote attacks more often, his attacks do 3 damage, and the Zotelings do 1. Zote 6. Grey Prince Zote attacks more often, which seems to be his maximum attack frequency. His attacks do 4 damage, and the Zotelings do 2. Zote 7. Grey Prince Zote's attacks do 5 damage, and the Zotelings do 2. Zote 8. Grey Prince Zote's attacks do 6 damage, and the Zotelings do 3. Zote 9. Grey Prince Zote's attacks do 7 damage, and the Zotelings do 3. Zote 10. Grey Prince Zote's attacks do 8 damage, and the Zotelings do 4. There is a significant glitch with this boss. If we are using Joni's Blessing and we take damage that would overkill us, meaning do more damage than our remaining hit points, while we have more than 1 remaining hit point, we instead retain 1 hit point. Any damage after this point will kill us, but this glitch grants us, essentially, a second chance. This glitch does not occur if we are not using Joni's Blessing. Taking exact damage will kill us like normal. Full disclosure, it's only been as I'm putting this video together that I learned that this glitch allowed me to beat Zote 8 and 10. I have since beaten Zote 8 and 10 without the glitch, but forgot to record 8 for proof. Like I mentioned earlier, I struggled real hard with Zotes 5 and 6. From my first attempt at Zote 1 to my victory over Zote 10, I put in over 8 hours, with Zotes 5 and 6 taking up about half of all that time. The transition from 2 to 3 damage really messed with me, and it only got crazier from there. The Hidden Dreams expansion is built assuming we've done everything else in the original game. I had maximum hit points, maximum charm notches, maximum soul vessels, maximum nail, every empowered spell, every ability, and every charm, and I struggled. A lot. But there are 10 fights to get through, so there is plenty of opportunities to learn and improve. After getting through all 10 fights, the progression, despite how bonkers it feels, really makes sense. I got through Zotes 7 through 10 in less than an hour, primarily because by that point we've put in so much time, seen and heard every attack so often, that we really understand how the fight goes. By the time I was at Zote 7, I wasn't feeling like the game was being as cheap. I had started to feel like every mistake was my own because I knew better by then. There will be 2 times per Grey Prince Zote fight where he will be staggered. We'll know he's staggered because our hit will look and sound different, and Grey Prince Zote will fall to the ground and flail about like a turtle on their back for about 3 seconds. This is essentially the only time we get to safely heal, unless there are Zotelings to deal with, and then we just get to cry because we have to deal with them rather than heal. Grey Prince Zote will get back up if we do any damage to him within those 3 seconds. Having the maximum of 9 hit points is very helpful. If you don't, there will come a time when you won't be able to survive even 1 hit by Grey Prince Zote without the use of health boosting charms. 1500 health is a lot to get through. By Zote 4, he has the second highest single amount of health for any boss in all of Hollow Knight. Having the strongest nail, the pure nail, really helps make the fight go quicker. The Shade Cloak is a huge help against Grey Prince Zote, and managing its use is wicked important. We find the Shade Cloak at the bottom left of the Abyss. With proper timing, Shadow Dashing will nullify essentially anything Grey Prince Zote can do. Spells are useful against Grey Prince Zote, especially Desolate Dive / Descending Dark. That spell can safely dispatch Zotelings and Grey Prince Zote and keep us relatively safe. A Vengeful Spirit / Shade Soul cast once in a while isn't bad either, because it too can deal with Zotelings and Grey Prince Zote simultaneously. Howling Wraiths / Abyss Shriek is a big no-no. The damage trade-off is just not worth it, because the only time Zote is above us is when he's slamming down. Having all of the Soul Vessels is certainly great for a spell-focused setup. That's not my favorite playstyle, but I did witness the power of spells and would use them from time to time. Healing is great until about Zote 8. Then, even with amazing charms like Quick Focus or Baldur's Shell, it's going to be a struggle to recover enough health to save us from another Grey Prince Zote attack. With Quick Focus, it would take 2 staggers to recover all of the health lost from a single Grey Prince Zote hit during just Zote 8. Gotta deal with those winged and hopping Zotelings. As soon as those things show up, gotta destroy them. They don't move quickly, but the random hops and lazy flying mixed with Grey Prince Zote shockwaves and movements will create a ton of terrible situations. Stay far away from volatile Zotelings. If you can spare the soul, a good Vengeful Spirit / Shade Soul cast can clear them all out before Grey Prince Zote has a chance to attack with them floating around. Or we can use our nail to put them in a better position, giving us a safe space to maneuver. Just be careful. The longer a volatile Zoteling exists, the less damage it takes to make them pop, so they might explode when you strike them. Dealing with the Flail attack is wicked tricky, because the telegraph for that attack can happen so quickly. The safest bet is to Shadow Dash through Grey Prince Zote as soon as his nail swings forward and jump as soon as we're behind him. This gets us away from his nail and keeps us safe in case Grey Prince Zote fails and just falls over. If he starts flailing, use downward slashes to pogo stick on him and his nail until he falls over. Or jump up high on a wall and use the Mantis Claw or Crystal Heart to just hang out. Grey Prince Zote will run sometimes rather than leap. This can be tough to deal with for 2 reasons. 1, Grey Prince Zote might actually run away from us rather than towards us. And 2, there is very little warning. Grey Prince Zote only runs in between attacks, but there may be almost no time after an attack before he starts running. This and the Flail attack are how I get hit the most by Grey Prince Zote. Holding our dash until Grey Prince Zote is coming down for his leap, nail slam, and shadow slam attacks is a great strategy. We can sneak in damage against Grey Prince Zote after he lands from one of his jumping attacks if we've successfully dodged the shockwaves, and just before a Flail attack. We can score a lot of damage during a successful Flail attack. The best times for us to score major damage against Grey Prince Zote is during the telegraphing of the Zoteling and Ghost attacks. Grey Prince Zote stands still for a couple seconds during each of these attacks, and the Zotelings can take some time before they become dangerous to us, giving us large windows of opportunity to hurt Grey Prince Zote. I needed all the charm notches. All of them! I'm sure someone's defeated Grey Prince Zote a billion with no upgrades whatsoever, and I tip my hat to you, but for me, I needed my wonderful, powerful charms, and I used every notch to their maximum capability, figuring out, do I really need Mark of Pride's reach, or can I survive with Long Nail? Joni's Blessing gets me the most HP for the cost, but do I want to still heal, and so on. For Zotes 8 through 10, my charms were Quick Slash, Joni's Blessing, Unbreakable Strength, and Defender's Crest. Quick Slash proved to be too useful for me. I needed to deal as much damage as possible to Grey Prince Zote when he would take those short breaks, and Nail Strikes was my way of getting that done. By Zote 10, he's dealing 8 points of damage. With max normal hit points, we can't even survive a hit from one Zoteling if we get hit by Grey Prince Zote once. I knew I couldn't escape everything Grey Prince Zote would do, thanks Flail attack, so I used Joni's Blessing to gain 5 hit points for only 4 charm notches. This let me survive a hit from Grey Prince Zote and a Zoteling. But that was before the Lifeblood update. Now that the Lifeblood update is out, Joni's Blessing only grants an extra 50%, rounded down, to our hit points, meaning that at 9 hit points, we'll only get 4, for 4 charm notches. Lifeblood Core gives us 4 hit points for 3 charm notches, and we can still heal if we absolutely must. I want Grey Prince Zote dead faster than us. Using a nail is my playstyle, so pairing Quick Slash with Unbreakable Strength made the most sense. I needed to do as much damage as possible whenever I struck Grey Prince Zote, and Unbreakable Strength grants me that, giving me an extra 50% damage for every nail strike. I used Defender's Crest because I had 1 charm notch left, and Defender's Crest is free damage. It's not a lot of damage, but it was the most I could do for 1 charm. I needed all the damage I could get because my strategy against Grey Prince Zote was not win the War of Attrition against him, because that's impossible, but just do more damage to him than he could do to me. I'm going to essentially be talking about other tactics that could work for Zote 10, because anything that works for Zote 10 will work in earlier versions, and we could be here all day discussing the various tactics that can work as Grey Prince Zote becomes stronger. I mentioned this earlier, but I found Desolate Dive / Descending Dark to be a fantastic spell for this fight. It's not the panacea for this fight, but it does help clear away Zotelings and damage Grey Prince Zote at the same time. In a similar vein, Vengeful Spirit / Shade Soul is also great, though due to its long cooldown time, it's best to use this spell when far away from Grey Prince Zote. As such, if you want to maximize your spell's potential, bring the charms Shaman Stone for damage, and Spell Twister to reduce the spell cost. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Fluke Nest. Many noobs suggest that Fluke Nest is the best strategy against Grey Prince Zote. I tried it, but found that it wasn't all that great for me. Nail combat felt more natural for me. If you want to heal, Quick Focus is absolutely necessary. That'll get us 3 hit points per stagger. Combining Quick Focus with Deep Focus is a very solid strategy, as we can get 4 hit points per stagger. However, such a combination does cost 7 charm notches. Nail extending charms like Long Nail and Mark of Pride are useful because having that extra range means that we can get a few more moments to react to Grey Prince Zote's flail attack. Instead of Long Nail or Mark of Pride, some noobs have turned to Grubberfly's Elegy to keep their distance from Grey Prince Zote. I tried this once I saw some videos showing its efficacy, and I'm here to give Grubberfly's Elegy a rating of meh. If you can dodge everything Grey Prince Zote and his Zotelings do, then this charm is fantastic. Its exceptional range does make it easier to avoid the flail attack, but take any damage, like I often do, and you've got 3 charm notches of dead weight. Using Grubberfly's Elegy for maximum efficacy really comes down to how well you can. Charms that give us free damage are very useful. Charms like Glowing Womb and Weaver Song are great for providing us with free damage. Thanks to the Lifeblood update, if we are using Weaver Song, pair that up with Sprint Master to make the Weaverlings do increased damage. Further this combination by using Grub Song, and the Weaverlings will grant us soul when they do damage, which helps feed Glowing Womb. Health boosting charms like Fragile / Unbreakable Heart, Lifeblood Heart, Lifeblood Core, and Joni's Blessing can give us that extra hit point we need. But remember, Zote 10 does 8 points of damage. With 11 charm notches, we can equip all 4 health boosting charms, and we would have a maximum of 22 hit points. Thanks to the Lifeblood update, Joni's Blessing is most effective if we combine it with Fragile / Unbreakable Heart. Please see the Soul Master video for a discussion about general playstyles, and please see the link in the description for a great video about charm combinations. Each time we defeat Grey Prince Zote, we get to enjoy a humorous scene as Bretta cries and falls off her lounging chair, completely mortified that her love, the Grey Prince, could ever be defeated. The other 9 Zotes, see that, fall over with sadness. With each defeat, another candle at Grey Prince Zote's shrine is lit, up to 4. Once we've defeated Grey Prince Zote 10 times, the statue in the shrine turns to gold. With each version of Grey Prince Zote, Bretta describes her hero with more, and more impressive, adjectives until Grey Prince Zote is described with invincible. Which is interesting, because as we defeat Grey Prince Zote more and more, we can find Bretta's thoughts shifting about this once great bug. This bug for whom she wrote a ton of fan fiction. If we look at the hunter's notes for each Zoteling and Grey Prince Zote himself, we catch glimpses into the novel she wrote about him. We even get to see some of this in Bretta's house. But now that her dream version of Zote the Mighty is being defeated, she starts to feel differently. Before the Lifeblood update, we needed to defeat Grey Prince Zote 10 times to complete Bretta's quest. After the Lifeblood update, we only need to defeat Grey Prince Zote 4 times. Bretta's quest completes when the journal in her house has a final entry, and we no longer see her standing outside her house listening to Zote the Mighty. If we speak with the Elder Bug, we learn that she set off on her own in search of her one true love. That's it for our boss discussion about Grey Prince Zote. Thank you for joining me today, noobs. Stay tuned for future Hollow Knight boss videos. If you have any thoughts about Grey Prince Zote, either about the fight or about him as a part of the world of Hollow Knight, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. I am the Perpetual Noob, and I'll see you all next time.